All right, Rabosai, good morning. Let's begin. So we're picking up on page Reish Samech Dalid, towards the end of the page, the paragraph that's labeled Yud. Mafsidi Hamidahim. What are the things that take away or diminish a person's ability to go ahead and acquire the midah of Kedusha? So he says, Chestron Hayidios Hamidios. So number one, lack of knowledge. Okay, so this actually is quite fascinating, because what Ramchal is saying is, if you don't know what Kedusha is, that you can't be expected to be able to acquire it, which of course makes an incredible amount of sense. So if you don't know what Kedusha is, then of course you can't acquire the midah of Kedusha. Next, Verov HaChevra in Bnei Adam. This is very interesting. Spending too much time with other people can take away from your Kedusha. This is an incredible statement. Spending too much time with other people could diminish your ability to become Kaddish. What does this mean? Because what he's saying is as follows. Remember, to a certain degree, so Kedusha, as much as we spoke about the difference in Kedusha and Tara, that whereas Tara sometimes requires one to go ahead and remove oneself from the physical, Kedusha allows for the uplifting of the physical. That being said, but as you saw in yesterday's shir, even Kedusha itself requires one to diminish unnecessary interaction with the physical. So interestingly enough, interacting with people is interaction with the physical. So sometimes too much time spent with people ultimately diminishes one's ability to become kadosh. Now, understand, of course, there's something else, which is interactions with people leads to all different other kinds of things. So sometimes it can lead to certain good things, and sometimes it can lead to things that are not so great. So the idea is, and not only that, the more I'm talking with someone else, is the less I'm thinking about my life and myself. So what he's saying is, he's not, of course, the Ramchal is not advocating cutting off social interaction. What he's saying is, make sure your interactions are purposeful and necessary. There's sometimes we socially interact for the sake of social interaction, but it doesn't necessarily fuel anything positive. And in fact, it could actually be negative, because the more I'm socially interacted is the more I'm physically interacting. The more I'm physically interacting is ultimately, again, the more there's an emphasis on the physical and less of an emphasis on the spiritual. If that's the case, it makes Kedusha more complicated. When a person, now literally it means when a person separates himself from other people and is by himself, V'yochin atzmo al hashras page reish samechei al hashras kedusha. So hine b'derech sherotze leilech bo yolichuhu ube'ezer ha'eloki asher yutan lo tiskaber nafsho bo utinatzach es hagufnius betidbak b'kedusha yisbarach v'sushlam bo. So it's really very interesting. So the idea that Ramchal says over here is there's something else. We've spoken about this many times throughout the Sefer. The need to be alone with one's self, right? And the need to go ahead and kind of take a step back from the world and introspect and think and contemplate. Well, the problem is when I'm schmoozing with my friends or spending time with people, which is a very nice thing, but what I'm not doing during that time is a focus inward, is an introspection, is a thoughtful contemplation about who I am, what I am, and the life that I'm living. Therefore, says Ramchal this incredible idea that although, of course, social interactions are good, and spending time with people are good, but too much of it is actually counterproductive. So much of life is finding this incredible balance between, on one hand, forging meaningful relationships, spending time with people, speaking to people, because conversely, again, we have the ability to contribute so much to other people's lives just through simply being present, but at the flip side, also making sure that I'm having that correct balance, because too much social interaction, too much time with the other, comes at the expense of time with myself. And time with myself is so necessary in order to fuel proper introspection and ultimately growth. He goes on, paragraph Yud Beis, Umisham Yale al Maila Gavoa Yoser V'Ruach HaKodesh. So also now, again, you can see he's kind of winding down the Sefer. After Kedusha, there's another level, What's the level after Kedusha? Ruach HaKodesh. So let's remember again, Ruach HaKodesh does not mean prophecy. Nevuah is prophecy. Ruach HaKodesh is a word, we often translate it as prophecy, but it more better means a level of understanding that is above the normative human comprehension. So Ruach HaKodesh means I'm able to see things with absolute clarity. There is a spirit of holiness that has been conferred upon me, then I'm able to see the world with a greater clarity. Shekvar tagia haskalaso lios lamala michol kenoshi. My understanding is above that which normal people understand. And as a result of this level of understanding, I'm able to answer that Kadosh Baruch Hu, ultimately again a different level. I'll say to illustrate this. So, it's interesting. When Avram and Sarah have this dispute about going ahead and sending away Yishmael. So Sarah says to Avram, you got to get rid of Yishmael. I have to raise a Yitzchak, and I can't raise a Yitzchak in the same home as a Yishmael. And Avram Avinu is very resistant, understandably so, because Avram Avinu, his job is to be Makariv, is to bring close the entire world. So at the end of the day, now he's being told to go ahead and send away his only son. So he's resistant. So what does Hashem say? Hashem says to Avram, Kol asher tomar elecha Sarah shma bekolah. Whatever Sarah tells you, do it. Whatever Sarah tells you, do it. So Rashi says, Melamed, shayatafal Avram Avinu b'nevios. So some say, so different versions of Rashi. One version of Rashi has it that you see here that Avram was secondary to Sarah in terms of prophecy. Some have it prophecy, nevuah, other have it Ruach HaKodesh. The Nitziv goes with that approach of Ruach HaKodesh, and ultimately again says something amazing. He says, what's the difference between Ruach HaKodesh and Nevios? He says Nevios is prophecy. Ruach HaKodesh is understanding. So the Nitziv says something amazing. He explains that Avram was the greater prophet, right? After all, you can't say that Sarah was a greater prophet than Avram Avinu, because we've never saw even Sarah having one prophecy, right? We never see her speaking directly to God. We see Avram speaking directly to God. So rather, what was it? That Sarah was greater than Avram Avinu in terms of Ruach HaKodesh. Ruach HaKodesh doesn't mean prophecy. Ruach HaKodesh means life understanding. So amazingly enough, the Nitziv posits that Sarah had greater life understanding than Avram. And specifically, again, when it came to the family. But not just the family, in life in general. Avram might have been the greater prophet, but Sarah had the greater life intuition. So here the Ramchal is saying something amazing. After you get to all of these levels, and you get to Kedusha, by the way, Kedusha is the end of the ladder for the Ramchal. But he points out it's not really the end of the ladder. There is a higher level. What happens after Kedusha? After Kedusha comes Ruach HaKodesh. Not prophecy, but life understanding. Once you go up this ladder of the Ramchal and you get to Kedusha, you have Ruach HaKodesh and you understand life in a dramatic way, unlike anyone else. You understand yourself differently, you understand the world differently, and you understand God differently. One more line. He goes on. Wow. You get to such a level of understanding that literally the key of Tchias HaMesim is handed to you, the key of resurrection of the dead. I don't know what this means, but we're just going to take the Ramchal's word for it. That somehow, again, a person is able to rise to a level of understanding and connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, literally, Tchias HaMesim. Kimo shenimsar li'Eliyahu v'le'Elisha, mashu mora al osim hisdabkus bo yisparach. Shebiyoshu yisparach shmo mekarachayim, hanosin chayim l'chol chay, u'ma'amarim zichron levracha, shlosham. So again, we'll stop over here for today. We'll pick up with this Tchias HaMesim idea. But says Ramchal, after a person goes ahead and reaches this level, ultimately of going ahead and having Kedusha. After Kedusha, ultimately a person gets to Ruach HaKodesh, and after Ruach HaKodesh, a person gets to Tchias HaMesim. We'll start with Tchias HaMesim tomorrow, what exactly that means. But what the Ramchal says is Not that literally it means you have the ability to resurrect the dead, but what it means is you have a connection to the source of all life, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, like no one else. All right, we'll pick up with that idea in your session tomorrow. Eshkacha, we'll say.